If you heard someone say, "I want a baby, but I don't want the baby to cry, whine, or be too needy," if you have common sense, you would probably think, and might even say, well, maybe you shouldn't have a baby then. So when we hear and watch dog owners talk about caging their dog for 8 hours or more a day in their homes so they don't make a mess, use the bathroom inside, whine, or to handle their separation anxiety, we think, and we are now saying, why do you even have a dog? Get a stuffed animal instead. A silent stuffed animal that requires no care or hassles is the perfect pet for people who justify caging their dogs for being social, vocal, and active. Basically for being a dog. Yeah, that's right. We said cage. Anyone who cages their dog should say it too. But they don't, because crate sounds a lot less cruel than what it is. A cage. It's the power of words, and it's the power of lying to yourself. If you're thinking about getting a dog, or have a dog, and wondering, should I crate, aka cage my furry friend? The answer is no. In this video, we're going to go over the top 3 reasons why you shouldn't cage your dog, and offer some alternatives to caging your dog. But first, hit that subscribe and like button to support our channel. We appreciate your support, and it helps us, hopefully, spread positivity about animal care. If you don't watch the rest of this video, the fundamental point is that none of the alleged reasons for caging any dog holds up, and we're not going to use the word crate. It's not a crate. It's a cage. It's described as a crate because that sounds a lot nicer than what it is. A cage that's not fit for almost any animal, much less an animal that's supposed to be a member of your family, a dog. It also helps pet companies sell a lot of their cages. Reason number 1 that you should not cage your dog is the same reason you probably got a dog. Because he or she is social, lovable, and very much wants to be with you and become part of your family. Putting your dog in a cage because you don't like the mess he or she makes, whether it's going to the bathroom in your home by accident, being destructive by chewing on wires, or pulling down clothes, doesn't address any of those issues. Your dog needs to be trained by you to use the bathroom while out on a walk. The sad truth is that if you know you will not regularly have the time and patience to take your dog for a walk and give him or her the mental and physical stimulation needed daily, then please don't get a dog. Don't torture the dog by caging him or her for the 8 or more hours you work a day. Dogs exhibit behaviors we find annoying, like being destructive when they feel that we don't give them the attention and affection they need and want. Yes, all of this sounds exactly like a child, and that's what owning a dog is like. It's not like having a stuffed animal you get to drag around outside only when you feel like it, or to take photos for Instagram. Just like a human child, your dog needs to be near you and your family, interact with you, and socialize with people generally. It's hard to do that when he or she is caged. It only makes anxiety and whining worse, not better. Why? Because it's very boring, uncomfortable, and goes against every dog's inborn instinct to walk, run, explore, and enjoy life. Just like you or me. Worse yet, if you're caging your dog when guests are visiting your home, whether they're family or friends, think about this. Your home is your home and your dog's home, while your guests are your guests. They're visiting. Honor your relationship with your loyal companion by allowing him or her to showcase their personality in unique colors. If someone doesn't like dogs or animals, why are they even in your home? Reason number 2 is that caging doesn't help with house training dogs to use the bathroom outside, and it often leads to dogs being deprived of enough water. One of the main reasons people began to, and continue to cage their dogs, is to train them to not use the bathroom indoors. Puppies, like human babies, however, cannot hold their bathroom instincts. They have to be brought outside frequently in order to relieve themselves. However, for people who don't work from home, can't afford a pet sitter, or have family or friends who can help, or simply don't have the time or interest, this is difficult to do. In this instance, please don't get a dog. It isn't your fault if you don't have time, but it's important to recognize what your limitations are right now in terms of time and finances, as well as your priorities. Get a dog when you have the time to train him or her. Adopting or buying a dog when you're not able to devote the necessary time will mean a life of misery for your dog, who will be locked up in a cage for your convenience. You should feel guilty about convincing yourself it's okay because a pet care company sells a cage marked as a crate with a happy-looking dog on the box. Some vets recommend it, and some doctors will recommend painkillers and all sorts of medication at the drop of a hat. It's up to your own common sense to decide what is best for you. And in this instance, your dog. It's as simple as you wouldn't put your own child in a cage, or at least we hope you wouldn't. So don't do it to your pet. What's even worse is that many people who cage their dogs also conveniently claim their dogs only need water once a day. Why, you may ask? Because the owners don't want to come home to clean up their dog's urine. So they just don't provide the dog with access to water in the cage. And that could be up to, or more than, 8 hours a day. The typical American working day. As a result, the dog ends up drinking water only when the owner is home. And it's usually not enough. Frankly, it's disgusting that people deprive their dog of access to fresh water, all because they don't want to clean up their urine after they get home from work. Dogs need water when they feel thirsty, not when it fits into your schedule. Us humans need to understand that if they don't want to clean up urine, then they shouldn't get a dog. Rather than cage your dog, take your dog outside when they wake up and at least an hour or two after they eat. More often than not, as you get into a routine of walking your dog more often, your dog will choose a favorite place outside to use the bathroom. It takes time, work, and patience from humans, but it's worth it. Why? Because if you're thinking about getting a dog or already have one, your dog should become family, and hopefully you care about your family's emotional, mental, and physical well-being. Reason number 3 is that cages increase your dog's separation anxiety. It's inhumane, cruel, and beyond stupid that any human being with even a little bit of common sense thinks that putting a dog who whines or cries when away from you into a cage for 8 hours during the workday and then 8 hours while you sleep is okay. It's unacceptable and sickening. Dogs whine for a variety of reasons. And guess what? So do humans. Very commonly, while we're glued to our phones, computer screens, or the television, dogs whine because we're not giving them enough attention. They're excited to see us and want to let us know. Or they're stressed because they're bored. They may also be in physical pain or discomfort. Basically, in most cages, the gist of it is that they want our attention. If you ever come across a vet or a supposed dog trainer who recommends you put a whining or crying dog into a crate to shut them up, run for your life and be sure to leave that person a bad review online to warn others to avoid them. Just like you wouldn't lock a crying baby or child into a closet to stop their crying or whining, don't do that to your dog. You address the problem by giving them more attention, love, and playing with them. Obviously, we all have to work, juggle social lives that don't include our dogs all the time, chores, and many other responsibilities. However, when you have a dog, he or she requires time and emotional commitment, especially if you only have one dog. Just remember your dog doesn't really have any companions except you and your partner or family. If you don't play with or take your dog for a walk and basically address the reason why they're whining, no one else will do it. Putting your dog in a cage until it's convenient for you doesn't solve the problem. It only makes it worse because your dog will continue to feel neglected and have even more pent-up energy and anxiety from being stuck in a small space for a long stretch. It's a vicious cycle. If you see your dog sleeping or lying down in the cage, it's not because your dog is enjoying or relaxing in the cage. It's because there's nothing else for your dog to do. There's only enough space for your dog to pace a few inches back and forth, possibly toss a few toys, and whine and cry even more when you're not home, and there's no space to do anything except sleep or lie down. Don't interpret that as a sign of your dog being content. It's a sign of misery and caving in to mind-numbing boredom. Some alternatives to caging your dog that we recommend include using a baby or dog gate to section off a hallway or room for your dog to roam around freely. Yes, there might still be a mess because your dog will be lonely without you while you're out of your home, but the mess will be confined to one area rather than your entire home. In the same vein, you can also set up a playpen that's spacious enough for your dog to walk and run around in with toys. It's a fair compromise for both you and your dog. If you can afford it, and we know many people can't because it's expensive, consider placing your dog in a daycare where your dog will spend the day socializing with others and be under the care of adults who are hopefully kind and patient professionals. With all-day playtime at the doggy daycare, Your dog will be happily pooped by the time you're off of work, and will have a lot of new friends too. Depending on what app you're using and where you are in the country, hiring a local dog walker to walk and play with your dog during the day might be cheaper than a doggy daycare. While you can use apps and sites like Rover and Barkley Pets, we also recommend checking out the Nextdoor app to find neighbors who are part-time pet sitters and dog walkers. Of course, meet them. Check out their references and any website or social media they might have. It's one way of cutting out the third-party platform and supporting a local, possibly one-person business. If you happen to have a reliable and trustworthy family member or friend who's close by and works from home, that could work as well. People already in your social circle might do it for a fraction of the price, or be open to bartering their services for yours. It's important to remember that most of the time, when there's a will, there's a way. All in all, getting and caring for a dog is a huge responsibility and source of joy. Most of us feel disgusted and outraged when we see dogs in cages in other countries, or when dogs are mistreated. We should oppose animal cruelty and abuse whenever we see it. But firstly, we should do what we can, when we can, to treat the animals in and outside of our homes right. Control what you can. You can control what you do inside your home with your dog. Do the right thing. Don't cage your dog.